I was going to need a whole bunch of time-lapse cameras, so I made a functional prototype and then started building my own. I wound up making a lot of circuit boards by hand, and as it became obvious that I was going to need a lot more of them, I started having circuit boards fabricated just for the Timelapsers. And I put them out everywhere around my house to record trees growing. A lot of people do time-lapse, but seasons time-lapse is pretty rare. And to keep cameras running so long, some of them were solar powered. This circuit board runs the camera. This is what they look like when they've got some of the parts on them. Then I made this circuit board. This lets one alarm clock and one set of relays run multiple cameras. And these are the little satellite boards that go on the cameras when it's being run by that board. This board can be connected to an alarm clock or a slave version without the microcontroller can be made to run off of one of these ports, which normally would run a camera. So one of these with the chip can run up to 7 more of these, each of which can have 7 cameras, or this can just run 7 cameras directly, or they can be daisy chained, right? There can be a camera, another board like this, and on that other board there can be a camera, and another board, another board, another board. So basically you could have one alarm clock and one chip running everything. This is time-lapse photography. You can see the flower opening because time is sped up here. The movie was shot 1 frame at a time with a delay between frames, and the flickering you see is because it was shot outdoors in natural light and clouds are passing in front of the sun. The movie starts with darkness and ends in darkness because you just saw an entire day pass. This video was shot with 15 seconds between frames, so speed is increased by 450 times the normal speed, and we're moving forward through time at 7.5 minutes per second. At this speed you can see clouds forming and this storm actually moving in. What happens if we double the length of time between frames? This next sequence was shot at 30 seconds between frames, and this is 900 times normal speed, and we're moving forward through time at a rate of 15 minutes per second. We can go even faster. This is 2 minutes per frame, or 3,600 times normal speed. We're moving forward through time at 1 hour per second. If we go much faster, 24 minutes between frames, this is 43,000 times normal speed, or 12 hours per second, and we're interrupted by days passing. To go faster, you have to go a lot faster. Here, an alarm clock is triggering the camera once per day at exactly the same time of day. So this video was shot at a frame rate of 1 frame per day. Speed is increased by 2.5 million times, and we're traveling forward through time at a rate of 1 month per second now. You can see things like these sticks moving down the hill because they were trampled by ducks being fed here and moved randomly every day, but the hill imposes a preferred direction to the movement. You can actually see trees growing. This pointy tree grows by making a spike at the end of the branch that opens up to become points. And once a year or so, there will be flowers at the end of each branch. The lower branches don't have flowers, so it's easier to see the branch actually growing as the central spike makes new points that fan out. And this plant grows like the pointy plant by putting out sticks at the end of each branch. And the branch grows each season as it puts out a new cluster of sticks. And each branch, every few years, will make these berries. Flowers that are only on the bush once for 1 day make a twinkling effect. We've seen shadows moving in the 1 frame per day video, but that's not the sun moving throughout the day, it's the sun moving through the seasons. This video was taken starting on the shortest day of the year at the same time of day, so you actually see the sun moving across the sky with the seasons. These guys were going to build a house here, so I set up the 1 frame per day cameras to record the change. This tree in my backyard, even though I'm in Florida, it loses its leaves and regrows them every season. It's interesting to watch the water in the river because the rainy season causes the river to rise, and then the rest of the year the water slowly goes down. You may also see flashes of ducks that like to sit on my dock. A lot of people have done this seasons time lapse, but most people will set out a camera to try it once. I did a little more than that. This is a gumbo limbo tree. It doesn't grow the way the pointy plant or the rubber tree did. This is more like the trees you see up north. In the springtime, at the end of each branch, there's buds that will grow into leaves and little twigs that stretch. And the twigs increase in length, and this is the mechanism for lengthening the branches in the tree. The next summer, each of these twigs that you see growing in length here will not grow in length anymore. They'll sprout more buds that grow new leaves and twigs, but the previous year's branch will only grow in width to support the weight of the new twigs and leaves.